Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the night before the draft, and I want to record a series of videos very quickly, running through some of my top rankings at the various positions in this upcoming draft. Now, I've already ranked most of the positions. The only one I have to finish up is edge rusher. I'm working on it tonight. I'm going to work on it tomorrow morning. It's going to be published sometime tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be updating it throughout the day as I fill in some of the profiles with the information I've collected over the year. But I want to make these videos very quickly. There'll just be very brief run-throughs of my rankings for the top 10 or 20 players at each position. And I will be leaving the link to these articles, which I have written and published. They're totally free to access. The link for these articles will be in the description. So if you want to read and just scroll through, rapidly see the numbers instead of actually listening to this video, just go down to the description, click the link, and it'll take you right to my newsletter where all the content there is free and you can get all the rankings for yourself. You can see I've even compiled them all here in this running back ranking for you to click on as a link, and you can just go and navigate to any of them if you want. But anyways, I view this running back class as not having any real true superstars per se, but it is a very deep group. And there are two players I think are in a tier by themselves. That's Kenneth Walker from Michigan State and Breece Hall from Iowa State. Breece Hall has had 2 or 3 years in a row now where he's been a really productive player. He's been the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year the past 2 seasons. Kenneth Walker was the best running back in college this past year. They're both super high-end players. Walker, highly explosive. And what I think is really special about him, for someone with such a small frame, such a small body that he has, he's got a lot of muscle, and he's actually pretty twitchy. He really can cut whenever he wants to. He can juke you out, he can string multiple moves together. He's got a spin move. He finishes through tackles. He's got a lot of power. So I really love what he has. I think he's the complete package, with the exception of there's still a lot to prove on passing downs. Pass protection is going to be an issue, and he really is unproven as a receiver. But you're looking for a guy who can be a two-down running back at the very least. I mean, at the very least, Kent Walker is a two-down running back, and a guy I view as a player who could run for over 1,000 yards in the season in the NFL. Now, in the year end, you have Breece Hall, a player who relies a little bit more on vision, has good breakaway speed. He's got tons of long plays on his tape. Not as powerful, not going to be, very different playing style, frankly, than Kenneth Walker, but still a guy who can carry the load for you, has a lot more upside as a receiver. He's not even 21 yet. He's going to turn 21 next month. So he is a very young player as well. He did have a lot of touches in college. Kind of worry sometimes with these guys who get a lot of carries in college, or how that will hold up in the NFL, because we know running backs have a shorter career span than most positions. But Breece Hall, a home run hitter, highly productive. We had an Iowa State offensive line that was not very good. And by the way, Michigan State's offensive line was not much better. So two guys who I view as being in a tier by themselves. Tier 2, this is where you get guys who can go in the late second round or early third round. I got 2 players in here, Jerome Ford from Cincinnati and Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M. Spiller is more of a one-speed kind of runner, in my opinion. Not very natural hands, but he is a consistent producer, and he breaks tackles. He has really good contact balance, and someone who will not have like a lot of home run hits, but can sometimes surprise you with some of the acceleration he gets. And doesn't really cut that great in open field sometimes, but I think he has enough moves to stall defenders and kind of get them on their back feet where he can go by them. And he has, like I said, that contact balance where he'll just consistently grind out 10-yard runs and really kind of stack those up over time. Like I say, very consistent at breaking tackles. Jerome Ford is a lot different. Jerome Ford is a home run hitter. He has the speed, maybe the best acceleration in terms of getting to that top gear and just going out of any running back in this draft class. And, of course, former Alabama player who transferred to Cincinnati. We know Alabama's got an eye for talent at the running back position. I think he cuts pretty well. He converts speed to power so he can finish through guys. He always keeps his leg churning, so it's hard to break down. I'm not really sold on him as a guy who can really produce a ton on third down as a receiver or in pass protection, but I do think he has some upside to develop in those areas. And then tier 3, these are 4th-round selections, or guys who I could see going in the late 3rd round. I really like this group. This is where the meat of the draft is for me, and really talented players. Brian Robinson Jr. from Alabama, Rashad White from Arizona State, Damien Pierce from Florida, Tyler Algier from BYU, Keontae Ingram, which is probably a name that surprises some people, from USC, and James Cook from Georgia. All these players have different attractions to their abilities, different issues they struggle with. And I'm not going to cover all of them in this video because I want to keep this video fairly short. I want to encourage you to go read them, read about them for yourselves on the newsletter. So you can go ahead to the description and click that link. You can get straight to this newsletter where you can read all the pros, cons, production, for yourself. I just noticed there's a typo down there I have to fix. But James Cook, players can be more of a receiving back. He doesn't really finish between the tackles. He's kind of light, I guess you'd say, as a running back. Not gonna be like his older brother, Dalvin Cook. So he's not gonna really be a between the tackles kind of guy. More of a receiving down back out of the backfield. Whereas someone like Keontae Ingram at 6 foot flat, 221, has a lot more power. He can finish through defenders, can drag guys. It's a little bit more from him in terms of power. And I think he has good breakaway speed as well. Maybe not breakaway speed, but good acceleration to create bigger plays. Tyler Algier does not have the breakaway speed, but he's been highly productive. He plays through contact very well. He's got really good vision. Not a lot of wiggle, but he consistently just picks up yardage. Part of that is the BYU's offense line is pretty good. Damien Pierce from Florida, not used a lot in college. He's going to have fresh legs in the NFL. Not a very dynamic player, but he's a good in pass protection, which is something that can really help you out in the NFL. Doesn't fumble a lot. He's got good ball security, and he constantly finishes through contact. And he can actually make guys miss in one-on-one situations. He's not going to be terrific in space, but he can make some guys miss. White, on the other hand, Rashad White can definitely make people miss, and he's gotten some of the highest upside of a receiving back in this class. I think that's really the attraction here, and he can just make guys miss in space. You add that all together, as someone may play in an outside zone system, I think that can certainly help him out there. And Brian Robinson's the exact opposite end of the spectrum. The guy who will run through you actually has really natural hands. He didn't have to catch the ball a lot at Alabama, but he's got really good hands. And like I said, nearly 900 yards after contact in 2021. I know he ran behind a really good Alabama offensive line, but even without that, this is a guy who will create yards after getting hit, just consistently. He's 6'2", 225, a stereotypical big Alabama running back, and someone who will just be a very consistent producer at the next level. I'm going to very quickly just recap the other guys who I have in my top 20. Abram Smith from Baylor is 11. Pierre Strong Jr. from South Dakota State, 12. That's a guy who I think will actually go higher. I'm a little bit lower on him than most people, but I think Pierre Strong Jr. is a guy that a lot of people like as a potential feature back. Kyrie Williams at 13. Zamir White, a real weight room warrior at 14. Tyler Batty, who's I think a sneakily good pick in this class if you get him on grade 3 at 15. Tyler Chandler from North Carolina at 16. Hassan Haskins, Michigan at 17. Saquandre White from South Carolina is at 18. Tyrion Davis-Price from LSU is at 19. And B.J. Baylor from Oregon State is at 20. And you want to see the rest of these rankings that have 40 running backs ranked. 30 of them will fill out player profiles. You can go ahead and click the link in the description. And it'll take you right there to see all this content for yourself. But for now, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. And I'll see you all in the next video.